Hey viewers, welcome to African Tales by Afi. Please kindly click the subscribe button to get notified for more amazing stories. In the small, cheerful town of Elua, two best friends, Samuel and Mercy, were enjoying their school holiday just like they always did, racing bicycles, picking mangoes from Mercy's backyard tree, and sitting under the big umbrella tree sharing stories. Both 12 years old, they had known each other since they were toddlers. Their friendship was as tight as a tied rope, and they shared everything, every laugh, every secret. One sunny afternoon, after chasing each other around the compound and eating sugar cane until their teeth felt wobbly, Mercy sat down with a puzzled look. "Samuel," she said, twiddling her fingers, "I heard something strange in school before we closed." Samuel leaned in curiously, licking sugar cane juice from his hand. "What is it?" Mercy hesitated. Some of the older girls were whispering about boys and girls, about what happens when people grow up. It didn't make sense. They were giggling and saying things like kissing practice and growing into women and men. It sounded weird. Samuel blinked. Growing into men and women? We already know that, like growing taller and getting deeper voices, right? No, Mercy said slowly, it's something more private. Samuel's eyes widened. More than growing armpit hair? Mercy burst into laughter, then shook her head. They said it's something that happens when boys and girls like each other too much. Now both friends sat quiet. Their eyes stared ahead, unsure. "Do you think it's true?" Samuel asked. Mercy shrugged. "I don't know. Maybe we can find out on your dad's computer?" Samuel nodded. "Let's try." Later that evening, Samuel came to Mercy's house with his backpack. Mercy's parents had just left to attend a business dinner, and the house felt big and empty. Mercy led Samuel into her father's study and turned on the computer. "Okay," Samuel said, cracking his knuckles, "what should we type?" "Try. Why do boys and girls act weird when they like each other?" Mercy suggested. He typed it in. What popped up made both their eyes go wide. "EW. Close that!" Mercy cried, covering her eyes. "I'm trying!" Samuel panicked, clicking frantically. Why are people even smiling in that picture? They both fell back into the chair, embarrassed and more confused than before. "That didn't help at all," Mercy muttered. "Nope," Samuel agreed. Maybe we should try it ourselves?" Mercy blinked. "Try what?" "You know, the hugging and kissing and stuff. Just to see what the big deal is." Mercy stared at him for a long moment, then slowly nodded. "Okay. But just to understand." They tiptoed upstairs, whispering and giggling nervously. But as they were awkwardly sitting on the edge of Mercy's bed, trying to figure out what exactly they were supposed to be doing, the front door creaked. "Mercy? I forgot my folder." It was her father. Both children froze. The footsteps echoed through the hallway like a drumbeat in Samuel's chest. "Mercy? Are you upstairs?" her father's voice called again, closer now. Samuel and Mercy jumped apart like frightened goats, eyes wide as saucers. "Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!" Mercy whispered, flailing her arms like she was swatting invisible bees. Why is he back? I thought they went for dinner. Samuel panicked, his voice squeaky with fear. What do we do? Hide. Hide in the wardrobe. Mercy pointed, dragging Samuel by the sleeve. They scrambled into her closet, bumping into shoes and hanging clothes. The smell of lavender and shoe polish filled the tiny space. Mercy covered her mouth to stop herself from squealing. Shoo! Samuel nodded, holding his breath. The door creaked open. Her father stepped in, looking around the room. He paused, then slowly looked toward the wardrobe. Mercy, he said calmly, why is the computer still on downstairs? Mercy slowly opened the wardrobe door and stepped out, her face redder than a tomato in the sun. Samuel followed, dust in his hair. Her father raised his eyebrow. Samuel? Samuel gulped. Good evening, sir. Mercy's father crossed his arms. I think we need to talk. Downstairs, the three of them sat in the living room. The ticking wall clock was the only sound for a while. Samuel stared at the carpet. Mercy twisted the hem of her shirt. Her father finally spoke, gently but firmly. Now. I don't want to shout. But I do want to understand. What were you two doing upstairs? Mercy and Samuel exchanged glances. Then Mercy mumbled, we were trying to understand something. Something we heard from older kids at school, Samuel added quickly. Mercy's father leaned back. Go on. Well, Mercy said, voice quiet, they were talking about boys and girls, and love, and growing up. We didn't understand what they meant. They were laughing and whispering and we felt left out. So we tried to look it up on the computer but it just made things worse. So we thought maybe we could try it ourselves, Samuel admitted, cheeks flaming. Her father nodded slowly, not angrily, but thoughtfully. Thank you both for telling me the truth. He paused, then said in a softer voice, listen, I know you're curious. That's completely normal. Everyone your age begins to notice changes, starts to wonder about love, feelings, and relationships. But those things, especially the kinds of things you saw on the computer or heard your classmates talking about, those are meant for adults. Why? Mercy asked. Why can't we just know like they do? Because, Mercy, her father said kindly, some things are like shoes. You don't wear your big brother's shoes because they're too big for you. You wait until your feet grow. Love, relationships, and all the feelings that come with them, they're like big shoes. Trying them on too early can trip you up. Samuel blinked. But we're not in trouble? Her father smiled slightly. You made a mistake, yes. But you didn't do anything terrible. What matters is that we talk about it. That you ask questions. Always come to your parents or someone you trust. Curiosity is good, but you must find answers in the right places. Mercy nodded slowly. So, we should have asked instead of trying? Exactly, her father said. You're still growing. You'll understand these things better in time. There's no rush. Samuel let out a big sigh of relief. I really thought I was going to be banned from Mercy's house forever. Mercy giggled. I thought I was going to be locked in my room till I'm 20. Her father chuckled. No one's being banned or locked away. But we will be having a little chat with your parents too, Samuel. It's important everyone's on the same page. Samuel nodded. Yes, sir. Mercy's father stood and stretched. Now, who wants yam fries and pepper sauce? I saved some before we left. Samuel's eyes lit up. Me? Mercy smiled. Me too. But Daddy, after dinner, can we talk a little more about the big shoes? Her father beamed. Of course. That's exactly what I hoped you'd say. As they headed to the kitchen, Samuel and Mercy felt lighter, like balloons cut free. They had learned a valuable lesson. Curiosity wasn't bad, but trying to figure things out alone could be risky. And nothing was better than asking someone who truly cared. The smell of fried yam filled the house as Mercy's father set the plates on the table. The golden pieces sizzled on the pan, and the pepper sauce bubbled beside it. Samuel, eat up, Mercy's father said with a smile. Nothing like yam to fuel a good conversation. Samuel grinned, picking up a piece. This is better than my mom's. Don't tell her I said that. Mercy giggled. Too late. When they were done eating, her father sat on the couch and patted the seat beside him. Now, come on, both of you. Let's finish our talk. Samuel and Mercy sat close, legs swinging, faces curious but calm. Her father began, You both said you heard something at school that confused you. Do you remember exactly what it was? Samuel shifted. It was, they said Mercy would start wearing something called a pad soon. And someone else said boys start having hair in strange places. Mercy nodded. And then they laughed and said we'd start liking each other soon too. But no one explained why. Her father chuckled softly. Ah, so it's the beginning of puberty. That's when children grow into teenagers, and your body starts to change. Samuel raised his eyebrows. Like turning into a superhero? Sort of, her father laughed. Only instead of superpowers, you get taller, your voice changes, and you begin to think differently. You start to notice feelings you didn't have before, like being curious about love or relationships. But it's scary, Mercy said. People made it sound silly or weird. I understand, her father said gently. But it's not weird. It's natural. Everyone goes through it, your parents, your teachers, even your grandparents. But here's the important thing, just because you feel things doesn't mean you have to act on them right away. Samuel tilted his head. So it's okay to be curious, but not okay to experiment? Exactly, her father nodded. You'll have questions, like why boys and girls act differently, or why people fall in love. But experimenting without understanding is like baking a cake without knowing the recipe. You'll only make a mess. Mercy made a face. Like when I tried to make chin-chin and burned the whole pan? Samuel burst out laughing. That was a disaster. They all laughed, the tension easing completely. Daddy, Mercy said after a moment, do you think we'll really start liking each other like that? Her father looked thoughtful. It's possible. Or maybe not. You're still very young. Right now, what matters is building your friendship. Real relationships are built on kindness, honesty, respect, and time. Samuel nodded slowly. So we don't need to rush into being like grown-ups? Not at all, he said. Being a child is a gift. You have time to grow, learn, ask questions, and enjoy life without all the complicated stuff. Just then, the doorbell rang. Ah, that must be Samuel's parents, Mercy's father said, standing. Samuel jumped up. Are they mad? Let's find out, he said kindly. Minutes later, Samuel's parents sat on the couch, a little tense at first. Mercy's father explained everything, what had happened, what the children had said, and how they had asked honest questions. Samuel's mother sighed with relief. I was worried, but I'm proud they told the truth. Samuel's father nodded. And I'm glad we're talking about it. A lot of kids don't even ask. They just wonder silently or hear the wrong things. Mercy's mum, who had just arrived too, added, from now on, if either of you hears something strange, promise us you'll come to us first. We'll always be here to explain. Samuel and Mercy looked at each other and smiled. We promise, they said together. Mercy's dad clapped his hands. Good. Now that we've cleared the air, who wants ice cream? The kids jumped up, shouting, Me. Me. As they all shared scoops of vanilla and chocolate, the house felt warm, not from the weather, but from the love and trust that filled it. Samuel leaned over to Mercy and whispered, This might be the most important holiday we've ever had. Mercy grinned. And the tastiest. They giggled, knowing now that some things, like friendship, family, and understanding, were sweeter than any secret they could have kept. The next morning, the sun peeked through Mercy's bedroom curtains. Birds chirped outside, and Mercy rolled over sleepily, blinking at the clock on her wall. She sat up quickly. Samuel, she gasped. We promised to meet by the mango tree. She dressed in a flash and dashed outside, where Samuel was already sitting beneath the big old mango tree in Mercy's compound, flipping through a notebook. You're late, he teased, holding up a stopwatch drawn on paper. I've been here for 2 imaginary hours. Mercy laughed. I overslept. But guess what? I had the weirdest dream. Tell me, Samuel said, scooting over to make space. I dreamt we were grown-ups, like, with jobs and everything. But we were still the same inside, just confused about what we were supposed to do. Samuel grinned. That sounds about right. They both chuckled. After a while, Mercy grew quiet. Samuel, do you ever feel like we're growing up too fast? Samuel nodded. Sometimes. Like when people at school talk about dating, or when they laugh at stuff I don't understand yet. Exactly, Mercy said. But after yesterday, I feel, I don't know, lighter? Samuel leaned back against the tree. Me too. Talking to your dad helped a lot. I used to think growing up was about knowing everything, Mercy said, but maybe it's more about learning how to ask questions. Samuel looked at her. That's actually really smart. Mercy beamed. Well, I am a genius. Just then, her mother stepped outside with a tray. Breakfast by the mango tree, anyone? The kids cheered. She sat with them, serving acro balls and pap into bowls. You two are always deep in conversation, she said with a smile. What's today's topic? We're talking about growing up, Samuel answered. And how it's not just about age. Mercy added, it's about learning. And asking the right people. Like parents. Her mom's eyes sparkled. That's very wise. You know, when I was your age, I was scared to ask my mom anything. I thought she'd be angry. What happened? Samuel asked, munching on akara. Well, one day I messed up, she said. I tried something I didn't understand. It got me into trouble. That's when I realized, if I had just asked, I would have saved myself a lot of confusion. Mercy leaned forward. So you weren't mad at us yesterday? Her mom shook her head. No, sweetie. I was proud. You were honest. That takes courage. And it shows you're growing. Samuel smiled. So growing up is like being a brave learner? Exactly, she said. Later that afternoon, they met their classmates, Beezy and Tund, at the local field to play football. As they waited for more kids to arrive, Beezy grinned slyly. Mercy and Samuel, still best friends, she teased. You two must be in love. Mercy looked at Samuel, then smiled calmly. Maybe one day, she said. But right now, we're just best friends who tell each other everything. Samuel nodded proudly. And we don't listen to rumors. We ask real questions and talk to real people. Beezy blinked, surprised. Oh, okay. Tund shrugged. Can we just play football now? Everyone laughed, and the game began. That evening, Samuel and Mercy sat together again under the mango tree, sweaty from the match and sipping cold zobo. I think we're really growing up, Samuel said. Mercy grinned. But we're not racing. We're walking, one step at a time. Do you think we'll always be this close? Samuel asked. Mercy looked at him seriously. Only if we keep being honest. And silly. And loyal. Samuel stuck out his pinky. Promise? Mercy linked hers with his. Promise. The sun dipped low in the sky, painting everything gold. Their laughter echoed into the breeze, not as children trying to be grown, but as friends growing together, with truth, with trust, and with time. It had been a whole week since that unforgettable afternoon when Mercy's father caught her and Samuel in the house. Since then, everything had changed, not in a bad way, but in a way that made them feel stronger, wiser, and more connected. One breezy Saturday morning, Samuel's mom invited Mercy and her family over for lunch. The backyard was full of laughter, the smell of jollof rice, and the sound of clinking plates. A table was set under the guava tree with colorful plastic cups and bottles of soda. Mercy leaned over to Samuel, whispering, "This feels like a celebration." Samuel nodded. "It kinda is." Their parents had planned the small gathering so they could all talk again, this time not in panic or surprise, but with open hearts and calm minds. After the meal, Samuel's mom stood up, brushing her hands. "All right, everyone. I think it's time we all had a chat." The children looked at each other. "Uh-oh," Mercy murmured. But Samuel's dad chuckled. "Don't worry. This isn't a lecture, it's a celebration of honesty." Mercy's mom added, "You two showed courage by being truthful, even though it was hard." Mercy sat straighter. "We just didn't want to stay confused anymore." "And that's a good thing," her dad said, smiling warmly. "It's okay to be curious. What matters is how you handle it." Samuel bit his lip. "So, you're not still disappointed in us?" His mom reached for his hand. "Oh, Samuel. Disappointment fades. But pride? That grows. We're proud of you both for choosing truth." Mercy beamed. "So, does this mean we can keep talking to you about anything?" "Always," said both sets of parents at once. Samuel leaned back, sighing. "That makes me feel safe." Mercy nodded. "Me too." Later that evening, the two friends took a slow walk to their favorite spot, the mango tree. They didn't say much at first. The golden hour sun wrapped the sky in orange, and the wind played gently with Mercy's braids. "I never thought so much could change in 1 week," Samuel finally said. "Me neither," Mercy replied. "It's like we stepped into a new part of growing up." "And the best part?" Samuel asked. "What?" Mercy looked at him. "We're doing it together." Mercy smiled. "Exactly." They sat quietly, watching the ants carry crumbs and the birds flit from branch to branch. The world felt full of newness and possibilities. Then Mercy turned to him. "Hey, Samuel?" "Yeah?" "Do you think when we're really grown up, like 25 or something, we'll still be friends?" Samuel grinned. "Of course. We'll be even cooler by then. Maybe you'll be a famous writer, and I'll be a scientist. Or maybe," Mercy said thoughtfully, "I'll be a teacher, and you'll be my student." "Hey!" Samuel laughed. "You're only 1 month older than me." They both cracked up, rolling in the grass, their giggles lighting up the evening air. After the laughter died down, Samuel looked up at the sky. "You know what else I've learned?" "What?" Mercy asked. "That growing up isn't about knowing everything. It's about knowing who you can count on." Mercy reached out and squeezed his hand. "Then I guess we're both growing up just fine." That night, as Mercy curled into bed, she pulled her soft pink blanket over her shoulder and whispered, "Good night, Samuel," even though he wasn't there to hear it. And in his own room, across town, Samuel was staring at his ceiling, smiling. "Good night, Mercy," he whispered. "Because sometimes, Growing up wasn't scary, not when you had someone beside you. Someone to talk to, someone to trust, someone to share the lessons with. They had started the holiday full of questions, but they ended it full of answers, and, more importantly, full of hope. The end. Hello tribe, hope we enjoyed today's story. Please kindly put what you've learned in the comments section. Please remember to hit the like button, share this to your friends and family, as well as subscribe to see you on the next one. Bye.